Hey guys, it's me again, and in this week's video I'm going to be going through my Goodreads shelves and reorganizing them. Specifically my favorites, but I think I'll probably just do the rest of them while I'm at it. So let me get my screen recording pulled up and we'll get right into it. Okay, so right now I am in my books. As you can see, I have 124 books in total. And I don't know what I want to get started with. Let's do my favorites first. I haven't looked through this shelf in a while, so I'm not sure what all is going to be on it. So first I see Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. And I'd say that's definitely one of my favorites of hers. So I'm definitely going to leave it where it is. Then there's Clockwork Princess. Yeah, Cassandra Clare made it pretty hard to forget anything that happened in that book. So it's very memorable to me and very much one of my favorites. Next, I have City of Bones, and to be honest, I don't really remember a lot from this one, except for the ending, which, yet again, Cassandra made that very memorable. So, I actually just got the 10th anniversary version of it, so I'm going to go ahead and take it off my favorites for now, and, after a reread, we'll see where we stand with it, because like I said, I don't really remember much with it. Oh my gosh. So the next three books are Mary Downing Hahn books. I read these a lot as a kid, and I love them. I haven't read them in a while, but I'm sure if I read them now, I'd still love them. They're kind of like ghost stories. But yeah, me and my friends would read them all the time, and they're really good. So the three books of hers on here are Wait Till Helen Comes, Deep and Dark and Dangerous, and The Ghost of Crutchfield Hall. And all three of those are probably some of her best, or at least the best that I've read. So I think I'd leave them on there just for pure nostalgia factor, because I love those books. Next I have The Great Gatsby by Scott Fitzgerald. Scott Fitzgerald. Sorry. I remember like bits and pieces of this book, but I remember I did really like it in high school. I did recently buy my own copy of it for my own collection, so I'm definitely going to be rereading it soon. So I think that's another one I'm going to take off for now. Then after a reread, see where I stand with it, kind of thing. Okay, next up is the Divergent series. How do I word this? I feel like these books were really hyped up, but then when you look back at them, you're all like, I don't think they're really as good as I remember them being. So I definitely don't want to keep them on my favorites. I definitely loved them at one point, but now I look at them and I'm like, eee. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those. Next up, I have Conjured by Sarah Beth Durst. This was one of those paranormal weird books that I read. I read this like my freshman year of high school, I'm pretty sure. Because I think I did a book report on it. This is another one of those books I don't remember much of. I remember liking it and thinking it was cool, but like hasn't really stuck with me, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove it as well. Next series is The Hunger Games. Now this is one of those series that I still really like and admire to this day. I reread the first 2 books of this quite a bit, so I still remember them fairly well. Except for Mockingjay. I don't remember much of Mockingjay because I reread the first 2 books quite a bit and not Mockingjay. Don't know why I did that, but that's just how it worked. But yeah, I'll definitely keep those on just because they are still one of my favorite series. Okay. Next we have more Cassandra Clare. So Clockwork Angel and Clockwork Prince. I don't remember a lot of the details from them. Like I said, Clockwork Princess was really memorable just because a lot went down in that book and a lot of stuff that's hard to forget. But in these first 2, I don't know. I definitely plan on rereading all of Cassandra Clare's Shadowhunter books. Like, that's going to be a future project of mine. So for now, I'm okay with removing them. And like with the other books, seeing how I feel after a reread. We have City of Glass, City of Ashes, City of Fallen Angels, and City of Lost Souls. The Moral Instrument series is the book series I remember the least amount of. Just because it's been so long since I've read them. So I think these ones definitely need a reread. Some of these I only have ranked at 3 stars too and are on my favorites, so yeah. So City of Heavenly Fire, I actually do remember a bit of that book. But I still want to do a reread on it. Just for my own sake. Lord of Shadows and Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare as well. Like I said, The Dark Artifices is one of my favorite series from Cassandra Clare. And I read both those books last year, actually. So yeah, they're pretty fresh in my brain, and I really love those books. So yeah, they're definitely staying where they are. And then the last book on here is Someone Named Eva. This is a historical fiction book set during the time of World War II. I really like this book. Like, yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites still. I haven't read it for a while, but a lot of the events that took place in the book and a lot of the story itself has stuck with me. So, yeah. I'm definitely holding on to that one. So if I reload the page, you can see that I've narrowed down my favorites from 25 books to 11. And with a lot of those, I just want to do a reread just to get a better sense of where I stand with them. I'm actually curious to see which one of what the average ratings on these are. So it looks like my lowest average rating would be for The Ghost of Crutchfield Hall by Mary Downing Hahn, which is 3.99. But other than that, the rest of them are above 4, which is pretty good, I'd say. I'm just gonna do a speed through while I work on organizing the rest of these. So I will be back to end out the video in a minute. Alright, so I am back. I'm gonna take you through my shelves real quick. We have classics, which is just classic books. Duologies, books that are part of a duology. Dystopia books. Fantasy books, which is one of my biggest sections, I'm pretty sure. My favorite, which we just went through, historical fiction, which is historical fiction books. Juvenile fiction. Kids books. Kids books and juvenile fiction kind of blur together, so I kind of separated them by junior high and elementary school. Then we have Love Triangle, which a lot of things fall into that one. Made Me Cry, which a lot of things fall into that one as well. Mystery, we have a few of those books. My Need to Buy, which I need to take some of these off actually. My very small nonfiction section. Paranormal, which my paranormal books, they vary quite a bit. Some just include paranormal beings, some are actually like ghost stories. I guess I'm not 100% sure what goes under the category, so there's just kind of a mix. There's no true pattern. Plague, which is a special section I made for books that talk about plagues, because there's a lot that I read apparently. Prequels and spin-off shelves, I have a few under there. And then my required for school, which is books I read while I was still in school. My romance section, which is very big. And romance doesn't necessarily, in my shelves, mean the book is all about romance. It just has a romance factor in it, typically. At least a subplot. Which a lot of books like to include a little bit of romance. Especially YA. Then there's my sci-fi shelf, which I have quite a few books under. Not sure if all these can fully consider as sci-fi, but they have some sci-fi vibes. Then series, where I put all the books that are series that have more than 2 or 3 books in them. A lot of uncompleted series in here. Then I have my standalones, which is books that are just one. One thing you may notice that I didn't do is I didn't categorize my want to read. And that's because after I finish a book, that's when I separate it into its respective shelves, typically. And I have my suspenseful category, which I only have 2 books under. I have that cover, though, and that's just books that I really like the covers for. And then my trilogy section, which is books that have series books that have 3 books in them. The majority of these books are Cassandra Clare. Who would have thought? And then I think this is my biggest section. Yeah, my biggest section is my young adult section, which is no real surprise. I read quite a bit of YA, and that's essentially all I read in high school, which a lot of these books are from when I was in high school. Lots of them. So yeah, that was me reorganizing my Goodreads shelves. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like. Let me know in the comments below how often you organize your bookshelf or Goodreads shelves. I don't have many books on mine, but I kind of have some organization going on up there. As always, if you're able, go support your local bookstore. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.